I'm bringing a timeline interview with the creator, the founder of Timeline, Micsta11, aka Mickey O'Driscoll. So I've got. It's going to be a structured interview, well, semi-structured, I guess, because some I might ask off the top of my head. I've got 23 questions and some extra ones that I just recently. Before I go into this, I'm working on a timeline storyline, a picture showing the whole storyline of Timeline up to the current point. So yeah, look forward to that sometime. I don't know when. School starts again soon, so I'll be busy, and I don't know. Yeah. So yes. Also collab coming soon. Okay. Anyway, let's start the interview. So, how are you today?
I'm great.
You're great. Yeah. Good. So, you've read through my draft of the Timeline storyline. Does it look good?
It's good, yeah. It brings out the proper...
What the First question, what's the significance of the clown?
Explain.
So what's the clown mean? It doesn't seem to... Oh, what's the clown mean?
Well, the clown was supposed to be, like I've spoken to you before about, the clown was supposed to be in the story, so in season 1, it was supposed to be the main part of the finale, or the mid-season finale, so the clown was supposed to come out of me when I shot you and Chica, or Cameron, at that point. And like, the clown was supposed to be a big part of it, but then I just thought that release my demons means I had a choice between the clown or the demon, so I chose the demon, because I knew that the clown thing wouldn't have been as good as, the storyline that I thought about, the clown wasn't going to be as good. The clown was supposed to be Mickey's demon, technically. If the demons weren't a thing, then Mickey's clown would have been the thing.
Okay, but from then you didn't stop it, because back in season 4 you mentioned the clown again. I don't want to go back to the clown. You mentioned that again, so it appears that you're not done with the clown. You don't want to put it to the side, that you got some plans for it.
Like, I know I've said that the clown has been gone, but I have thought of bringing it because of the demon story is almost finished. So I wanted to add the clown back into it, so it could be significant to the stories and a different story, so I could bring it, and then I have more to the story.
Spoiler, Mickey's actually Pennywise, confirmed.
I'm Pennywise.
Yeah.
This track coming soon.
So, next question. From season 1, episode 8, this is a reference.
Finale.
Yeah, season 1 finale. Who is the voice that speaks to Mickey? Voiced by Joshua Myler. Shout out.
What the voice that says, "Hello, you're Mickey, right?" The timeline's it's kind of a reference to the kingdom, because as the kingdom fell, Mickey was traumatized by all of the army people, and his dad saying that he was the only thing that could survive, or he's the only thing that could avenge everyone else. And it said that being the king's son and the time was precious. And then it said release my demons, as in a foreshadow to the demons being in season 3 and season 2. So Josh's voice was pretty much the kingdom in his head.
And so it represents the whole kingdom.
Pretty much.
The voice. Interesting. Okay, so season 2, episode 3. Within the 1 week gap. I answered this earlier, but within the 1 week gap, it said 1 week later. Before then, Mickey had the timeline. And then after the week gap, Mickey said, "Oh, I lost the kingdom, I lost my father, I lost the timeline." But before he had the timeline, so in that week gap, when it said 1 week later, did Mickey lose the timeline somehow? Because
of the snow, he kind of lost it. It was kind of a reference to the storm, in a way.
Like the storm swept it away.
It was kind of a foreshadow to the storm. So yeah, it was pretty much.
Okay, so interesting, nice. Don't dab, it's 28.
I've dabbed about 7 times.
I know. So, we established that Tyrone's demon isn't real. You're just going crazy and imagine it. Like, then you're not real. You're in my head. Because he's a psychopath, yes. Then why did he have demonic spasms and a demonic voice from him speaks? Like, the gun is useless without the bullets.
It wasn't the demon talking, as in when Tyrone was thinking about the demon, if you know what I mean. Like, Tyrone was thinking about having a demon. He said he wasn't real, but in Tyrone's mind, there was something there. So he thought that things were going on. So then he made himself feel demonic. So he made himself have these little spasms so that he thought it was real. So he couldn't control what he thought, really.
So it's all in his head?
All in his mind processing.
Great. Yes, yes. Indeed. Indeed. Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. It's like Gabriel. It's like Gabriel.
Next question. Keep your hands right there, yeah? Okay.
Are you okay there?
Oh, yeah, this. Oh. I've noticed, and we spoke about this, but just want to put it in the video. Every time Mickey dies, he wakes up in a bed, and then he goes back to sleep in the bed. And we spoke about this, so I kind of know what it is. But do you want to share with the people right now? Or is it too early?
If you haven't watched it, then season 4, episode 9 shows that the whole story was a coma. So Mickey's been in this coma for 2 years, and they was going to do a memorial for him. But every single time he died in his story, because obviously Mickey wrote his story before he was in the coma about the timeline, but he never got to finish it. He wrote characters and he wrote different things about it, but every time he died, he didn't want to. He didn't want the story to end like that, the main character dying, or himself. So he put that in the story, and every time he actually died in the story, he woke up out of his coma, but didn't know anything, didn't look around, no one was there. He fell back to sleep again.
Good dog. Because
he didn't know he was in a coma, he didn't know he was in the real world, he thought he was real, and every time he woke up from a coma, he couldn't say anything. And because he wrote down that he doesn't die, he went back into the story, pretty much.
Okay, so here's another question relating to it. It's part of my theory. So in was it season 2, episode 7 or something like that, when Mickey gets a time or something, it's empty or something, then he wakes up and he's reliving the old episodes. Was that him in like real life trying to rewrite the story because he didn't like the way it was going?
No.
No?
Well, it's predicted to be in real life. Like, hello. In that episode, pretty much everything that happens was obviously leading back to what Mickey could have done. So it was in his mind. It was obviously, we didn't bring up the coma then, but once I was thinking in that coma, my head was obviously messed up from the story that I wrote. So the story was kind of messing up. So that happened, and then my mind was broken up.
Got a sense of this.
Yeah. Ah! Hey! Listen. No, not how.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically it was the coma that was messing up his mind.
Yes.
It wasn't fully in the real world. It was the story in the coma messing up his mind, so we had to redo it all again.
So did he redo it in his head while he's in the coma?
Pretty much.
I see that. So my theory was kind of close.
Yeah.
It was all in his head, not writing down.
Not in real life.
Yeah.
when I interviewed Boo. How's Roscoe?
Yeah. Have you fucked him recently?
No one's gonna get that. I can bring that
Yeah.
up.
Oh.
I can bring my dog into your fucking pleasures.
Oh yeah. You can bring up Mr. Technique.
Go on.
You can bring up so many.
12 minutes. Geez.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like half an hour at the end of it.
I'm going to have to edit loads of this out.
Yeah, I know.
Next question. What? Okay, it's kind of a meta question, so it's not about this timeline itself. Like choices. Well, it might be about. I don't know.
Huh?
Why did you choose a VR that sends you to the demon world, makes you see it?
What?
Why did you choose a VR?
What, me?
Yeah.
Or Mickey right Mr.
Like you yourself.
Oh,
Why
oh.
did you choose a VR to be the item that makes you see the demon world? What happens?
Because
in it?
I didn't want it to just be, oh, Mickey goes into the demon world and I have to make up a random story about how. I wanted it to make more sense. So I wanted there to be kind of a VR world trapped inside of the coma. So he put it in, he put it on, I mean, and then he went into the demon world, which was no one knew the VR. Obviously, Mickey or Tyrone didn't know that the VR was the thing that got you to. No one knew about the demon world. It was just the VR was there to hide itself from the world. So I chose the VR because it made a lot more sense to have it there.
Does that suggest that the demon world? Does that suggest? Does that suggest that the demon world? Oh my god! Does that suggest? Because the VR takes you to the demon world, makes you see it. Does that suggest that the demon world is a lower reality than the normal world?
What, as in the demon world isn't like the real world?
Not the real world as in Mickey wakes up from the coma in his head, that world, the normal world, where the events unfold.
Well, the demon world is a less real reality, in a way.
So it's like a levels of realism. So you got the real world,
Because the
where
demon world...
Mickey wakes at like season 4, episode 9. Mickey wakes episode 9. That's the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the normal world.
The demon world
in his
was...
head, then the demon world.
The demon world was at its lowest point. So the demon world is at the lowest point of the story. So it's the part where he's stuck in that one pretty much. In the other one he isn't, but in the demon world he's pretty much stuck in the lowest point.
Okay. That's question
I
answered.
can't wait to see that again.
Okay. The world ending. So the meteor hit Earth, reference to Fortnite.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So
Season 3
the
finale.
world ended,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because the world ended, you saw it end of season 3.
The season 3
The
and
white
the
end
world
going
ended.
to white. Navia's real, but Mickey, Gabriel, they go to Earth, and it's still there. So, Earth is still there, the world didn't end.
Yep.
So, it doesn't really make sense.
You want me to explain what happened? Between the season 3 finale and season 4, the first episode?
Yeah.
Well, pretty much. Oh, fucking hell. Because obviously we was talking about the world ending and the storm, but as we were saying, the storm wasn't able to kill me, or there was only certain things that could kill me.
Yeah.
So
not the demons, not the storm.
So Chico had already died in that episode. Like Chico had already died in episode 11 with your.
Yeah.
And then episode 12 was pretty much a lead up to the world ending. So you two had already died before the world ended, so nothing could have changed. So Chico died in episode 11, and then you died. That's the thing. You both died from getting stabbed. You both, because we never seen Chico actually die properly. We just seen him. You know, he was on the floor. He was out because you stabbed him with the demon power. No, slightly. The demon power doesn't kill people, because the demon power didn't kill me in episode 11. and you got stabbed, which you
And
died.
didn't kill the Lord in season 4, episode 7?
Mid-season finale 8.
8, yeah.
And you did get killed at the end of it by getting stabbed, but the world ending was the meteor, which means the world kind of got stopped because as in the demon got broken, so the demon world got broken, which was let out into the world, which means Earth, which hasn't been it hasn't been brought out yet, so we'll find that out in season 4 episode 13 or something.
Okay.
That the world ending was stopped by the demon world. So the demon world was obviously broke it, which means that you got let out. The meteor came down. We all, well, because you two were already dead. Chico gone, you gone, and then I wrote down the timeline, and then season 4, wake up in Narvia. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And
what's going on?
Which means Earth was taken over by the demons, and everything was wiped out of Earth and put into different dimensions. But as Mickey ripped the timeline out of his coma, he wanted the demon world to be to add more to the story in season 4, so in chapter 4 technically. But Mickey being in the coma, he never woke up from the world ending, which meant that he didn't die in that bit. So, you know, the meteor coming down was stopped by the demon world, but Mickey was taken to a different place because the demons wiped the whole place with their gas or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, okay. That seems like it won't be. That seems like something that you won't find in any of the episodes. It's just like, this is the only way you'll find out.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's just interesting that to understand the story, a lot of the story, to get all the pieces, you have to do more than actually watch it yourself. Like, speaking to you, you get more of the pieces. And there's probably like loads of pieces still missing underneath. You can't see them.
Some of the questions you haven't asked, or some of the questions you didn't bring up.
Yeah, well, I've still got loads of questions.
In every episode there is something different. So there is a question that needs to be asked about it.
Oh wow. Where is Narvia relative to Earth? Is it on Earth? Is it a different planet? Is it a different dimension? Where is it?
Dimension. Because we all got sent to different places, so Tyrone and Chico, but Gabriel and Tyrone are in the same body. Like they both got connected together, so everyone else got separate, and you two got taken together. So you got the face, you got the body, the exact same person got put together, and now it's Tyrone and Gabriel, and that's why we haven't seen Gabriel die or anything yet. Which means you're not going to see Tyrone or anything, so you don't know which one's which, because they both got put together. So Tyrone got stuck. That's why he kept waking up. That's why he keeps waking up in his own place, or his own in the pink room. And that's where he's like, where am I? He's stuck inside of Gabriel's mind.
Oh. And all this happens inside Mickey's head, not this Mickey, the coma Mickey.
Coma.
So literally you, who has a story about Mickey in a coma, who has a story about creating the time of the normal world, which then has the demon world underneath. There's so many layers to this. It's like a confusing, complex case.
We still don't know what happens in the real world. In Mickey coma?
Yeah.
Because Chico says he's going to tell the world about it, but no, I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Next question. Oh yeah, what's Tyrone and Gabriel getting dragged by a demon? This is season 4, I think. Yeah. Like they get dragged by a demon.
What?
Like once when Time was confused and went into Mickey's old room, the green room, the graffiti, and he got dragged down by a demon. No, demon, no! And then when Gabriel was in the room with the rose, the rose painting, and then he got dragged out of the room by a demon and eaten. Like that. So what's that have to do with it? 'Cause it seems pretty random.
Well, the scene of you getting eaten by the demon.
By me, you mean?
Gabriel.
Okay.
Gabriel was kind of acting in that. So Gabriel was kind of planning what he was going to do. And then he was taking the piss, really. Because he was talking about, oh, smoke up and smell the... And he got eaten by that demon, which he didn't because he came back, like, straight away. That was him, let's say, a year ago, before all that happened. Navia, obviously, in this real dimension, he was taking the piss out of demons and stuff like that. Obviously, he didn't bring up anything else, but he was taking the piss out of demons, saying, oh, I'm going to get eaten by a demon.
See, it confirming that piece of the episode was a year before.
Pretty much.
So before they ever knew Mickey.
Yeah.
Before
anyone knew Navia.
Okay. Okay. Get some very good answers here. So, oh yeah, the trapped voice that says the demons that they're in Narvia and they've been taken by a demon.
Oh, the
voiced by Brad Mouse. Shout out. With that weird distorted voice.
What the? If anyone
trapped
can,
voice.
If anyone can hear this, I'm trapped.
Yeah.
And Navi's a bad.
It appeared twice, so it must be important.
I've never used it again, but it was kind of a foreshadow to Navia being bad. So the voice didn't really mean anything. It was just part of Mickey's head. It was in Navia. It was part of Mickey's head after he met Gabriel. The voices in his head was telling, like the demons in his head were telling him, it's never a good place to be. Like, because obviously I didn't trust anyone, and they were saying, oh, Navia's a bad place, and you're gonna get trapped.
Okay.
So it wasn't much.
Speaking about Gabriel, if he stays in Narvia, he'll get trapped.
It was a foreshadow, yeah.
So a lot of this is just Mickey is in his head, making stuff.
And then the coma.
Yeah, the coma.
This is what Mickey ripped. Like he never finished it, but this is what he ripped. But no one knows where he didn't finish it, what chapter he didn't finish it. Because Chico said, oh, but you never finished it. You never put an ending. So where did it finish?
Where did he start it?
Exactly.
What happened in the real world during his coma? Did anything influence him? So there's still a lot of questions that will be answered in future episodes, I hope. Okay. Oh yes, this one. At the end, I think that's the end or start of season 4, episode 5.
Silent Scream. End. You've asked, you've asked me, yeah.
Yeah. With Mickey and Chico, Mickey and Time, speaking like it was like from season 3.
What, me and you spoke?
Yeah.
What even was that?
This bit,
No, I could have died.
I'm going to copyright if you put this.
Managed to miss the ending. Ooh.
This was kind of a thing in Mickey's mind. So this was, do you know when I got shot by the demon power and I saved Chico? This is what Mickey thought about in his, this was coma Mickey. This was the coma Mickey. So the coma Mickey kind of wiped away the timeline story for a second, and this came into his mind. So I didn't bring up anything else, but loads of things came into his mind about what happened in the story, and this came up in his mind because he never died. When he got shot by the demon, in his head it completely changed. Do you know how I was talking about? Oh, you know, things come up in his head how he could have done it. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Season 2. This came up of how he could have changed it, and then he got into the world. So me and Chico were talking. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was in it.
This is when we were singing. This was that was a hallucination. That was a coma thing. That was before me and you went to Narvia to kill Antonius. This is me and you.
Gabriel.
That's Gabriel.
This place is
That's not Gabriel.
That's Gabriel.
That sounds like Tyrone. He's got that country voice.
Country bumpkin.
Gabriel doesn't have that voice.
This is after season 4, episode 2, when me and you were dancing. and I was telling you about Tyrone. So this is kind of a split. So you're stuck, ain't you? So this is when me and you were talking about trying to go kill Gabriel. And then we kind of talk and then sing. Oh, Jesus Christ. And then, like, yeah, we sing about it.
Well, so all the timeline story, all of it up to this point, excluding episode 9 and the time Coma Mickey's woke up, it's all in Coma Mickey's head. Like it's played out, he's made it in
the story.
mind. Okay. Okay, this,
Oh, Jesus.
some clarification, because I don't know how this...
Okay.
I don't know how this links in with anything.
What do you mean?
The end of season 4, episode 1, the werewolf. What does that mean?
Well, I told my friend that she can sing in the episodes, and
Ebony?
Ebony.
Shout out to Ebony.
I told Ebony that she can sing in the episodes, and then I told her that the story was gonna bring up more about. Do you know how I brought the demon in it?
Yeah.
Ew. Who's that?
I don't know.
Taking my girl. Taking my girl. It might be. It's good. And
The question, yeah.
yeah. What was the question? Oh, it was
the werewolf.
the werewolf. I told Ebony that she can sing, and I was like, yeah. There's going to be different stuff in season 4. As in, do you know how? Because it's scared that the demon did. That was funny.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add more stuff into it, so I looked at the effects. I was like, maybe the werewolf could be connected to Narvia. So, because Narvia is a fantasy world, and before, do you know how you said that, you know, dragons, there's some werewolves with that shit
Yeah.
that came out of your farm?
Yeah.
So it was a reference to, let's say, your farm, and people turning into the werewolf. So you didn't actually have werewolves on your farm. They were, let's say, your dogs or something, or your real people. The werewolves that escaped from your farm were people from your farm that you were thinking about.
And what about the dragons? What were they?
The dragons were real.
Oh, okay.
The dragons were real.
Oh,
I had fun with that. But the wolf was a reference, obviously from season 1, was a reference to maybe Mickey could have killed them werewolves. So it was like ripping out of it. So do you know how I was looking at it? That wasn't me that was turned into the werewolf. It was me looking at my hands, thinking about, like, remembering what I did. So it was me remembering seeing the people get killed and turn into werewolf, and then me taking them apart.
Oh, but there's a lot of things, like the werewolf, the demons, the clown, the devil.
But the devil hasn't been. The devil's in this season.
Yeah.
The next 6 episodes. Oh,
Don't deal with the devil, Cuphead.
the next 7 episodes are about the devil. Let's do this.
Okay, next question. Season 4, episode 8.
Oh, fucking hell.
Now this is, I just want to make this about Coma Mickey's head,
Uh-huh.
not about real life, the real world. Mickey got shot by the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does that mean he's dead in his head?
No.
Because he said he always comes back.
Because he
doesn't
woke
want
up.
it end. Doesn't want the story to end.
Because he never wanted the story to end. So, obviously, when he wrote the story, he never got to finish certain parts of it. So, and he was confused about what he should have done if he wanted Mickey to carry on being a character. And he wanted to make it real. But he didn't want Mickey to get finished that easily. Like, he wanted to add Lord Antonius. He didn't like the character, Lord Antonius, in real life. And he didn't like Gabriel. But he wanted Gabriel to be a bigger part. So he wanted Gabriel to have the betrayal.
But he loved Mickey, he loved himself.
He loved his character.
Yeah.
And he kind of, because he woke up again.
This brick.
Because he woke up. Because he woke up out of his coma when he got shot.
Okay.
Because Lord Antonius said it was over, Mickey knew that in the story that he actually wrote, he knew it wasn't over, so he couldn't change the story. He couldn't make the whole thing happen. So we obviously after that, he realised that he didn't want the Narvia story to carry on, so he stopped it after Mickey died in that episode. So then he kind of ended that. He didn't want the Narvia story to carry on, so he kept his character alive.
Okay, so...
And that's why the Tyron and Gabriel and Lold and Tony has got flashed about, and they escaped, which brought Mickey to bring himself back up and get himself out of the coma.
Right, so that's a lot to take in, but Okay, now the question just spawned in my head.
I don't know.
I don't know what episode it was, but earlier, like season 2 or 3, I usually get those two confused. I think it's season 2. Mickey talked about he read the timeline and only a specific thing can kill me. Not the demons, not the storm, but one specific thing. Has that thing been revealed? And if not, will it be revealed?
It hasn't been revealed. But it was
Is there an answer?
Yeah. But it's... I think it might be in the season 4 finale. Maybe. It should be brought up.
But it's still in Coma Mickey's head, so he kind of has control of it.
He writ off his dad too early. So in chapter 2, he killed him off. And he said it was the storm. So when he writ the story before the coma...
Or a different storm.
Yeah. When he writ the story before the coma, he wanted his dad to have a better death. So he's like, yeah, the storm. But then when he writ it, he thought, I can't change it, so I might as well sort it out. And then when Mickey said he doesn't die from the storm, and there's a lot of things that don't kill him, it's because when Mickey writ the story, he didn't want him to have the same kind of outcome as his dad, because he didn't like the way the story went.
Yeah. And I guess that was that kind of like an excuse to make Mickey not die?
Pretty
Or
much.
like the characters? I see.
What are you talking to me in real life?
I mean, no. Normal world Mickey.
Coma, yeah.
Inside your head. Next question.
Oh dear. Fucking hell.
I know, long. Might be obvious, but is the source of Mickey's demon power from his demon?
Yes.
Okay, I'll quick one. That's a very obvious question, stupid question. Does the timeline? Because I noticed the timeline from one episode it ends up with someone, and then the next episode it ends up with someone else with no explanation.
Oh, yeah.
Does the timeline change location on its own, like teleport or something?
Because
like
as
that?
obviously, remember when the timeline was on the floor and I opened it and I got the lives? The timeline is kind of like a reference to, let's say, Harry Potter or whatever you want to call it. It teleports around the place. So wherever the king is, or wherever the king would have been, the timeline goes.
Okay.
Pretty much. That is not going to be explained, pretty much.
Oh, great.
So no one's going to know that. Maybe in like season 7 or something.
But does that mean Coma Mickey wants the timeline to be with the king?
Coma Mickey wants the timeline to be there with him until the king's fully gone, because Mickey knows that the king isn't fully dead yet, because he gave off a really bad death for him, so he wanted him to come up in a different place. So he wanted that timeline to be where the king is.
Yeah. So basically, anything could happen in timeline. That should be the title of this video. Yeah. Okay.
Don't have that. Carry on.
Tyron's gay. What?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so is there only one timeline, or is there more than one timeline?
There's just one.
Because the timeline ends up in Narvia, yeah? Is that it teleporting to where the king would be?
The king would have, after the world ending, the king would have ended up in the same place as me because of the blood, because of the source of who we are, the family, would have ended up in Narvia. because the story wanted them to take over Narvia after the kingdom was done. So the demons wanted the two of us to go over to Narvia instead of being here on Earth, because they knew that we wouldn't be able to survive in Narvia. So the timeline got sent over. We haven't seen the timeline for a while.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
Yeah, and then the timeline appears in Narvia. Gabriel takes Mickey to it, and yeah, they find it. So Mickey writes to his dad in season 4, episode 3. Is the king, his dad was killed by the storm. So does it make sense writing to a dead person?
What when I was like, oh, I'll do it for you?
Yeah, and he cried.
Oh, yeah, that emotion. That wasn't specifically a letter for him. It was Mickey kind of remembering him, as in he wants to. He knew his dad wouldn't have been able to hear it, but he wanted to say it because he said, "I'll do it for you." And then he said he wanted to do it for his dad, so he knew he wouldn't be able to hear it, but he wanted to know. He wanted to feel like he could. So he said he would do it for him.
So it wasn't like literal, send a message to you?
No.
Okay.
And sooner or later, my dad's going to send one back.
Oh. Spoilers.
Carry on.
Now the rose on the timeline, what's that mean? The rose?
The rose on the timeline. So the timeline and the rose.
Yeah.
It was a reference to kind of...
Rosie?
No.
Remember?
The timeline and the rose was meant for, because the meaning of the rose in the timeline was life. So how none of us could die and all of us kept coming back. So people was obviously speculating that the timeline was linked to a rose, so that everyone came back to life, and the timeline was the reason that everyone came back, because the king was going everywhere with it. So that rose was the reason that people weren't dying, pretty much. And then people thought the timeline and the rose were connected.
So the rose is just a symbol?
Yeah.
Related to the timeline?
Yeah. It's true.
Okay, last question that I've written. Actually, no, I've got four more now.
It's
so,
true. And Tyrone.
Why does Mickey and Chico have a demon but not Tyrone?
Because of the real world. Because Tyrone isn't real in Mickey's... Do you know, outside of the coma, Mickey real world, Mickey the one that wrote the story, he didn't want that... He wanted one character... Because obviously Chico and him are best friends in real world. And he didn't want that random character that he made to have the demon. He wanted himself and his friend to have the demon. So he wanted to make the story as in they need to sort out what they have. They need to change their demons to get over the fact that Tyrone doesn't have one. So they need to sort it out. And then obviously in season 3 they take it over.
Okay. So I've got more questions which are on the storyline. Add a nickel for every time you've dabbed.
You don't know about having easy.
I could buy 4 Happy Meals.
Not really.
Probably. Okay, it says Tyrone finds a timeline and goes to the demon world. But how does he do that without the VR? Because usually that's the thing.
What do you mean? What episode?
Season 3, episode 2. Says Time finds the timeline, then has a demonic spasm, and he's in the demon world. There was a demon show through him. He's told by a demon, Mickey's demon, or a demon like Mickey, that they all won't help. So how did he get to the demon world without the VR?
It was because he had the timeline, so wherever the timeline is, the king is, and the king was sent to the demon world after the storm got in. Which means the timeline goes around, you had the timeline, you got sent to the demon world. So you had the voices.
Okay, that's pretty complicated, but isn't timeline all complicated? Okay, the invisible barrier. You know what I'm talking about.
Ooh, SOS.
3/4, episode 4, season 3. The invisible barrier. During the SOS thing, Mickey comes across an invisible barrier. What?
It was a reference to Exclusion Zone. Because in Exclusion Zone, the ending, like the whole ending of it, was supposed to be that they can't get out. There's a barrier in between. It was supposed to be in between our hill and my house. That was supposed to be the barrier. So I was like, we've got a barrier. SOS is Save Our Souls. So that Save Our Souls was making me realise that we couldn't leave. So we was gonna die. We didn't have much time, and we needed to get out, but we couldn't. Which was a reference to Exclusion Zone, which the ending was supposed to be me getting out of it and surviving. But obviously we're not doing that anymore. And SOS, meaning Save Our Souls, made me realise that there's no way they can get out, so they gotta fix it.
So, Coma Mickey was like, okay, I want to make them not get out, so put an invisible wall there. Okay? Good job, Coma Mickey, making it all confusing for us. Okay. The end of season 3, episode 6, the mid-season finale. Which Save Our Souls, was it?
Was that when your dad died?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yep, Karen.
I've put a star next to it for some reason. Oh yeah, I know. Mickey's mum. That's the only time Mickey's mum was mentioned. So, why was Mickey so angry when Papa mentioned Mickey's mum?
Because the only thing that wasn't mentioned between our families, so your Tyrone's family and Mickey's families, King was mentioned, family was mentioned, your farm was mentioned, everyone else, Alejandro was mentioned, but Mickey's mum wasn't. No brothers or sisters, Mickey's mum was not. And the one time Mickey didn't want to mention his parents was when an adult was telling him he needs them. And he didn't want... Because in the real world...
Yeah, I knew it would be a reference to a real world somewhere.
Obviously, in the real world, his mum is a very, very quiet person. His mum is... She's a queen, obviously, but she's not a big person. She doesn't talk. She's not exactly what everyone wants her to be. She's not a queen everyone wants her to be. Mickey knows that, but Mickey wants her to be a mum instead of a queen. Mickey wants his dad to be a queen, a dad instead of a king. So in the demon world, he knew that if someone brings up his family, they would think that because he wanted them to be that way, Anthony Dad would have said, brought him up like she would have been a mum. So then he killed him. He got so angry because he knew that he wanted his mum to be normal. And then your dad was representing them to be normal. So he was kind of relying on that.
Oh, I see.
Saying myself there.
Oh yeah, season 4, episode 1. So, Mickey talks to Gabriel. And Gabriel's like, you should be respectful, don't talk like that to us.
Oh yeah.
And then, Mickey wakes up in his room with the timeline.
Uh-huh.
And puts the VR on.
Uh-huh.
And he goes to the demon world.
Yeah.
How did he wake up in Earth from Narvia?
Because it's split. So, as in, obviously, the demon world is Earth now. So the VR was cutting between the demon world and Narvia. So Earth isn't real now. It's the demon world. So every time we go into Earth,
He said the demon world shattered into the Earth.
the
So
demon
they're
world
like
shattered
one
into
now.
Earth.
Like
So
collided.
they're both in the same thing. So Mickey got brought back to the demon world.
Oh, some hidden lore here. So I think that's it really. I think that's actually it for the
50 minutes.
interview. Yeah. Minus 10 minutes of bullshit, boo and all.
I need to watch that.
Yeah.
Alright. Thank
So, I think that's it. It's the whole interview.
the whole interview.
Thanks for
We're gonna make episode 10 now.
thanks for being my interviewee.
That's fine. If anyone wants to interview me, no.
This track's coming soon, so stay tuned for those.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. I'm Pennywise.
Yeah.